Welcome back, guys. It's been a minute or two or a while since I've done a watch video. And I've got a couple of watches here to talk about. One I own, the Grand Seiko SBGA 003, I think. This is a quartz 9R movement. And super accurate GMT. I love it, with a couple of exceptions, and we'll talk about that. And then this one that Cliff sent me from Alaska. Let me just zoom in here, get this over with. This is the SBGA 349 with the 9R65 spring drive movement. This is a mechanical slash electronic movement. It's super crazy, super cool, super accurate. And that's the beauty of the mechanical, of the spring drive. It combines the best of both worlds. The ruggedness and stuff of the mechanical movement, the automatic winding, the fact that there's no batteries required, yet it does electronic calibration, if you will. And I'm going to try to explain the spring drive a little bit here. And I'll probably do a poor job at it, but I'm going to put a link to a website that really talks specifically just about this movement, not the whole watch. And it really kind of explains it. So in a nutshell, you have the mainspring, which is typical of a mechanical watch. And this is a automatic watch. So as you wear it, it continues to wind itself, air quotes. What's cool about the spring drive on this model is there's an indicator here on the left-hand side that as you wind it, you can see it filling up. So basically you can tell how much power the watch has just by glancing at it. And right about there, it's full up. It does have a screw down crown that has a nice wind feel to it. And then there you go. Now we're at 100 meter water resistance, about 72-hour power reserve in an automatic watch that has this regulated electronic movement. So what happens is you wind the mainspring. The mainspring then activates the tri-synchro regulator. So it takes the energy from the mainspring, turns that into an electrical circuit, which powers a IC integrated circuit crystal, which gives it a reference signal. And then that uses an electromagnetic brake and applies that to the rotor based off of that reference signal to give it its accuracy of plus or minus 1 second a day. Super great accuracy. Okay. Maybe not quite as great as this quartz version, because this is plus or minus 10 seconds a year, I think, in this one. But it takes a battery, and it's about a 3-year battery life. Okay. So let's dive into some of the specs on this thing. It's all titanium, so it is super crazy light. Almost feels like a kid's watch, but wears really well. I was very nervous about the weight of it. I have looked at the Omega No Time to Die Seamaster 300 for a long time, since they came out. I've always really wanted a true James Bond watch. I have a couple of Omegas, but I really want a Bond watch. And I love the fact that No Time to Die version is, 1, all titanium, and 2, has no date. So it's just a very clean dial. But I was worried that it would be too light on my wrist over time, and it would bother me because I have heavier watches these days. So I've been wearing this one from Cliff for a little while. And here, let me give you a wrist shot. It's sized maybe a hair too big, but I'm not going to resize it because it's not my watch. So it does have some room to play, but it looks really good. It's a 40 millimeter case, 40 and a half when I measure it, all titanium. The lug to lug is 48 and a half. 19 millimeter lug width. Okay, sapphire crystal. This is Cliff's dress watch. And I get why. Because it looks great. And it feels great on the wrist because it's lightweight. It weighs in at about 90 grams, 90 grams, or 3.2 ounces. I was at my Omega AD last week and I wore this in, wanted to show him, and he had a No Time to Die there in the shop. He doesn't always have them. Sometimes they get sold and they're not there. And so I always try it on when I'm there. And I was able to compare this one to the No Time to Die. And the No Time to Die is slightly heavier. We didn't weigh it. I didn't look it up to see the difference, but it was not significantly heavier, but on my wrist, I could tell that the No Time to Die was slightly heavier. So I know now, sadly, that I could totally wear the No Time to Die and it would not be too light for me over time. So that's the beauty of Cliff loaning this in, and the negativity and the negative of him loaning it in is now I know that I could buy that other watch and be happy with it. So overall thickness is 13 millimeters, sapphire crystal, 5.8 millimeter crown, the spring drive. Let me see what else on my notes here I talked about. Okay, so super accurate, super great 40 millimeter watch. My GMT that I own is also great, steel case. Got the GMT, and I tried to make the crystal look better, and I made it worse. Let me wipe that off just really fast. So this is a true quartz movement, super accurate. This is a 39 millimeter watch, and it looks a little different on my wrist. I wish this was a 40 or even a 41. I would love it much better. It doesn't get a lot of wrist time for me because it is a little smaller. I know you're saying 1 millimeter, 39 to 40. I mean, this is really 40.5. But it's noticeably different. And you have to understand Grand Seiko are made in Japan initially for the Japanese, right? And they are just smaller in size than we are here in the United States. And so the 39 really works well in that culture and in that body size, wrist size, and all of that. So we're kind of pushing it here in the States at 39 millimeters. For me, that's too small, but I really wanted this great grab and go, always on, always accurate quartz watch. That's why I bought this one. It is something that's on my list as to possibly sell. Just in general, it's always been, even when I first got it, I was like, I like it, but I'm not going to say it's a forever keeper. So this one may go up for sale at some point. I don't know. But this one, because it's a 40, my Rolex Air King is a 40 also. I don't have that on the table. So I wear a 40 a lot. I know we're talking about 1 millimeter, but size matters. So Cliff, man, thank you for sending this in. I love this watch. It is lightweight. It does not have any micro adjusts, which is a Grand Seiko thing, which I wish they did, because I don't know that I could size this any better. I mean, if I took a whole link out, it would be too tight. If I tried to maybe take out this half link here, maybe it would work, but it may still be a little too snug. So a micro adjust, I think one micro adjust in, and this would be perfect for me. But they don't have micro adjust, so it is what it is. And I have been wearing this quite a bit, actually. So it works, just size the way it is. Let me know your thoughts, guys, please. Yeah, I mean, I don't do a lot of watch videos, and when I do, they get very few views at the beginning. But over time, they do get views, so it's fine. I'm not all about the views anyway. I just like to share. And I think the Grand Seiko is something that a lot of people don't know about, or or care, I guess. It's not a huge, I mean, it's a big name brand, but I think the Omega, all the Swiss watch companies get a lot more, quote, airtime, if you will, than Grand Seiko. So I was excited when Cliff sent this in. I did not realize that he was sending it in until I opened the box. So you get really high craftsmanship with Grand Seiko. It's not a Seiko watch. I mean, it's different, significantly different. The polishing, the brushing, the assembly, everything is really, really first class with Grand Seiko. So let me know your thoughts on Grand Seiko. I greatly appreciate it. And like I said, I'll put a link down below that really describes the spring drive in a lot more detail, a lot more depth. If you want to kind of geek out and techie nerd out, go to the link below. I would appreciate it. Thanks a lot, guys.